probably heard about artificial intelligence or AI and how it's changing the way we live and work, but what does that really mean to you, your job, or your business? Welcome back to Beyond the Classroom, where today's conversation is all about AI in the workplace. We're joined again by Michael Stevens, a computer skills training specialist at LCCC and a member of the college's AI committee. Michael will also lead a brand new AI course designed to help learners understand what AI is, what it isn't, how to work with it, not against it. Michael, AI is everywhere in the news, but let's ground it. How do you explain artificial intelligence to somebody with no tech background?
Hello there. Thanks for having me back. Well, let me just ask Siri or pull up ChatGPT or Google's Gemini and read back the answer for you. There, that's AI. Just kidding. It is that, but so much more. Is it chatbots and real-time language translation, like in Star Trek, come true? Yes. We can sit here and list hundreds of examples of AI all around us. And sometimes people aren't even aware that what they're already using is AI-based. I don't think a lot of people who use Siri and Alexa at home, some know it's AI and some don't, but it's 100% AI. It's been around for a while, actually. So AI is a broad, encompassing term for the field of intelligence systems that are capable of performing tasks that typically require human intelligence or lack thereof, but preferably human intelligence, such as perception, reasoning, learning, problem solving, and decision making. So AI, in this broad umbrella term, it includes many different areas such as machine learning, which is like self-driving vehicles. Watch out for that company, Aurora Innovation. They have those self-driving semi-trucks in Texas. Watch out. Teaching machines, including robots, drones, to do nearly whatever you want. You've seen the drones where a BMXer on a motocross track will have the drone follow just him or her on the bike, right? That's AI in the context of using a drone. So basically you can teach those machines to do nearly whatever you want, and then, get this, teach them to teach themselves to get even better at tasks. And then one level deeper, excuse the redundancy, deep learning, that mimics the human brain and is at the heart of analyzing images and videos, looking for a match, classifying what it's seeing. Is this a dog, a cat, a tree? Is it Michael? Is it James? And so with that example, it can find your face out of millions of pictures and videos within seconds. And that's a feature of deep learning, which is a feature of AI. And then another level deeper than that, deeper than deep learning, which deep learning enables, is the almighty and vaunted Gen AI or generative AI. But if you're going to be hipster, you say Gen AI to be cool, right? Gen AI is the most well-known by the public, even though they may not know that's exactly what it's called. But that's the version of AI that creates new data in all kinds of formats. We're talking text, images, videos, sounds, music, for better or for worse. Yes, it generates songs, and even programming code after it has been taught, and other areas. And speaking of Gen AI generating video content, there's a lot of hype recently about Google's VEO, and OpenAI's Sora. OpenAI are the ones who have ChatGPT. So OpenAI's Sora, S-O-R-A, and along with Google's VEO, are new AI tools. They could herald a new era of revolutionizing video making for the average person without a Hollywood budget. Because you can give them prompts to generate videos such as show a dragon swooping down and obliterating a small village. Use 2 different camera angles, and to further modify your prompt, you'd say add a lighting shift as the dragon's wings darken the town. And voila, those apps can make a video for you. And they're pretty darn impressive already. Can you imagine a year from now or 2 years from now? So this is going to probably rock the filmmaking and TV industry as far as not needing a studio, and many people at home can generate videos without even having a camera. So for better or for worse. But anyway, I digress. Many mistakenly think Gen AI is what AI is all about, but it's merely one of many areas of technology within the big AI picture.
So right now we're in the world of deep fakes, right? That's primarily what we're talking about.
Oh boy, yeah.
Is the Terminator coming?
Is it already here? If you think about it, any fans of the Terminator movie series, especially Terminator 2, we have the drones, the autonomous drones that can seek out a target on the ground. Skynet. There's talk of Palantir database having records on every human being on the planet. They already have cold pictures of everyone that they found across the world in the Palantir database. So that would be a version of Skynet. So sadly, some of that T2 stuff that's scary is already happening. And let's just cross our fingers that people have good hearts and don't misuse this technology.
And the predictive AIs from movies like Minority.
Oh, the Orwellian thought crime. That is a concern that they could use AI to say, well, you look at the statements this individual has made their whole life, all their emails, all their text and chats, the websites they visited. Do you see them as a threat maybe someday if they get mad or lose their job or get depressed? Generate a list of people we should keep an eye on. So that is a scary part of AI, not only helping cull all data, your Fitbit, your Garmin, your Google Maps, where you've been, where you've shopped, who you've talked to, all your home cameras, your Internet of Things devices, feeding data into about everything you've done, and then asking generate reports of people that could be in political opposition to you or a potential threat, but you haven't committed any crime yet. Like you said, Minority Report is a movie about let's get them before they commit a crime, and that's dangerous. But yeah, so those are the aspects of AI a lot of people talk about, and they're legitimate. But it's not. I'm here to talk to you about that's not all bad. I wouldn't teach it if it was all bad. So
all right, that's enough of the conspiracy theory stuff.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, I mean, those are the things we need to watch for.
Yes, we should be vigilant. Yeah,
but those are not the way AI is headed today, and that's not the way it was initially intended. So. You're part of LCCC's AI committee. What's the college doing to address AI in education in the workforce? Because I know we've been hearing a lot about kids and teachers recently using this in their classrooms. So what's the college doing?
That's an excellent question. And we have a lot on our plate in the AI committee to talk about, worry about, and propose to the college to help as like sort of like a steering committee. We should all be thinking about what to do with the future of education for the students, and of course, the impact of AI in the workplace. So these are huge topics to discuss. We could probably have 10 committees about this, but we have our main committee at the moment. Anyway, I'll just tell you about a few of the things we talk about. So there are these new trendy phrases out there you probably have heard: AI skilled workforce, or employers looking for AI informed applicants. So insofar as providing AI education to build up that workforce, it's no surprise that LCCC is pivoting to provide even more training on AI than we already do as it envelops us ever more. We already have, like we've been talking about, our Intro to AI course coming this fall. We also have additional new AI classes coming out in 2026. For example, I'll give you a sneak preview: Copilot and Excel, using AI to help you write Excel formulas or solve your data analysis questions and put me out of a teaching job. Kidding. Nervous laughter. But no, it can be helpful. These are our fast track courses to get you up and running quickly with our intensive one-day, lot of bang for the buck style courses. But additionally, right now, for longer term career training, our Associate of Science degree in computer science already teaches AI with an emphasis on concepts such as machine learning that I mentioned, along with data engineering as a foundation for AI programming, and also some AI terms: natural language processing and computer vision, which is computer vision is another subset of AI. A perk of being on this LCCC AI committee is that a little birdie told me that they're getting closer to rolling out a dedicated AS degree in AI, perhaps as early as next year. So stay tuned for that. Also within the committee, we're committed to providing AI education for the workforce. That's the department I work in. And since the need for AI literacy, as they call it, is becoming increasingly obvious, we have to address those demands. I'll elaborate more on that in a bit. In our AI committee, we've also been working on developing strategies to deal both with the issues of academic integrity and also the benefits of using and teaching AI in our own college. So in short, teach students to learn with AI, not just cheat with AI, but to learn with it as a tool. Much like, I could digress on this as a whole separate podcast, but Since when was an encyclopedia or dictionary cheating as a kid? I mean, we had those tools. Going to the library, is that cheating? Because the answers are in the books. Well, AI, if you have a positive outlook on it as a learning tool, is just a glorified encyclopedia. And I mean glorified, but encyclopedias don't write papers for you, and AI does with a knowledge of encyclopedias. But there's a lot of use cases we could show where students actually can use AI as a learning tool instead of a cheating tool. And that's a big thing we focus on in the committee. So some examples that have really raised our eyebrows in the committee is OpenAI. Again, they have ChatGPT. They gave 500,000 California State University students access to ChatGPT Edu, their educational version of ChatGPT that's customized for educational institutions. They just gave them access to help build the awareness and the positive use of AI for students in education. Also, for example, Amazon Titan and Anthropic's Claude can produce human-like writing on virtually any topic, from creative stories to technical reports. Tell them to generate written content in the voice of Shakespeare or William Faulkner or Dr. Seuss. I'm not kidding. It's kind of funny to try. You should try that. Say, take a technical manual, upload it, and say, rewrite this in the voice of Dr. Seuss. It is hilarious. I suggest you try it.
Haven't done the Dr. Seuss one, but
Not practical.
I have fed it chapters out of a book I was writing. And I said, all right, now do it in this author's style. Now do it in this author's style.
Yeah.
And I did it in about a half dozen different styles of renowned authors. And every one of them sounded exactly like that author. It was amazing, as if they had written it.
Yeah.
So we're back into the world of deep fakes again, right? It wouldn't be hard for Hemingway to all of a sudden come out with a new novel he never wrote.
Oh, heaven forbid. I mean, it's one thing like when a famous author like Frank Herbert, who wrote the Dune series, and no offense to his son, but I'm not as keen on the books written by his son, or Christopher Tolkien, right? Continuing his dad's legacy. Was that the next thing where, hey, AI Tolkien has got some new Lord of the Rings books? Oh, man.
Sure, why not? The Beatles just came out with a new song last year.
Yeah. Actually, to further what you said, you can actually submit examples of your writing, and the more examples you provide, the better. And then AI can write the paper in your style. So again, though, we're still kind of leaning towards the cheating, but not necessarily. It can help you revise your papers in your style too. So don't always think it's about plagiarism. But.
All right. So you mentioned your AI course. So let's talk a little more about that. Who's it designed for, and what are students going to learn?
Our mission is to demystify and improve AI literacy. I feel cheesy using that trendy phrase, AI literacy, but that's what they do in the industry. So I'm going to have to play ball. But we want to demystify all the confusion around AI. So our Intro to AI course is not just for folks who know little to nothing about AI, beyond what the movies like we mentioned, Terminator, or the movie AI itself. Remember, there's actually a movie called AI by Spielberg. The Matrix, that's a textbook on AI, where it's at, where it's going. And Minority Report, Black Mirror on Netflix. They portray AI in both a truthful and, of course, fictional way. But there are, like I said, there's nuggets of truth in all those science fiction writings and movies. So the course brings you up to speed on AI and on a conceptual level with explanation of crucial terms. A lot of people don't know what computer vision means. It sounds obvious, yes. It does involve cameras, but it's more about labeling images, classifying them, or using cameras to drive machines, hopefully in the right direction. And we also talk about categories of AI and clear up any misunderstandings that you may have gotten from those science fiction movies and books. We also include discussions of benefits, challenges, ethical concerns, and you always have to throw that in there because you can use all tools for bad purposes, of course. In education, we certainly are using it for good and trying to, like I said, not just being hostile towards it as a plagiarism tool, but as a learning tool. I'll talk a little bit more about that coming up. There's security concerns as well, which we talk about. And that's a big deal, actually. You don't just drag and drop a confidential company document or a student's paper into a public-facing AI app. You do not do that because they say in the small print, we will use this material to help train our AI for the future. You need isolated enterprise level customized AI apps that do not share your internal data or your private stuff with the world. So that's an example. We talk about that in the class because security is a big problem. People just drag and drop and say, fix this paper. And then now that student's name is in the public domain. That's not good. Another example of security concerns too we talk about in the class is just ask any parent whose kid might have downloaded Polybuzz. If you've heard of that, they can chat addictively with an AI best friend who can impersonate a celebrity voice, has a memory, basically it's recording everything you type or talk into the microphone of the tablet or phone your kid has, and then it has customized, relevant, and often inappropriate or even dangerous answers for whatever your child tells it to seem like it's truly their best friend that listens to you closely. I mean, this friend's available to you 24/7 and they don't necessarily judge you, although there have been examples of hostile AI responses back to kids on these kind of apps. But these apps, they're definitely listening closely, and this is a parent's nightmare. So there's a lot to talk about in the security realm of AI and how to use it properly and be aware of these new dangers. And this course is also for those who know a bit about AI already, as we do get a bit more technical in the second half of the class. So we go into topics such as a high-level look at the many tools available, not just ChatGPT, Microsoft Copilot, and Google Gemini, and some of the titans of the industry. There's a lot more than that. Anthropic's Claude, for example. So we'll talk about a lot in the class about the tools you can use with some practical examples and how they're different. We discuss how this technology works too behind the scenes. We don't get too technical, but we talk about foundation models, RAG, which stands for Retrieval Augmented Generation. Believe me, it's not as techie as it sounds. Transformers. No, not robots in disguise. Not that.
There's no Bumblebee.
Sorry, but transformers are also what work behind the scenes with LLMs you may have heard of, which stands for large language models. And the happy surprise that you can build and customize your own models, your own LLMs. Actually, they could be LSMs, specific to your business or even college class. So you can have a professor isolate a language model so that the answers a student gets are only related to the course he or she is teaching. We do hands-on activities with Gen AI, not just for fun, because believe me, it's fun too, but with a focus on practical use cases to improve tasks at home or work, and also basic prompt engineering principles. Now that sounds frightening. I'm not taking this class to learn engineering. That's just what they call it. If you want to be cool, you say prompt engineering. All prompt engineering is typing questions into an AI app. So don't let me be freaked out by that. Also, the course stresses the future of AI, which is changing literally by the week. Both preparing for its inevitable integration into our lives, as we can run, but we can't hide. And a look ahead to what's on the horizon, which is simultaneously invigorating, but also frightening, as we've been discussing here. So to clarify the answer, the course is designed both for folks completely new to AI and also those who do know some basics but want to dip their toes into the deep end to gauge the water's temperature. That deep learning, deep seek pun was intentional, by the way.
Have you set course duration? Is it a semester, a week, a day?
This is a one-day course.
One-day course. And have you set pricing for it yet?
That's also $179. Yep.
There you go.
And it includes materials.
So an awful lot of information for not much out of pocket, right?
Yeah, we think so.
So we talked a little bit about some of the conspiracy theories and all of the things that can go wrong, but some of the more realistic fears are around, is AI going to replace me? So there's a lot of fear, a lot of hype around AI replacing people in jobs or just eliminating jobs entirely. How do you respond to some of these concerns?
And they're definitely out there, those concerns, and I have them too. You have them. Well, my policy is to deny. No, I'm kidding. That fear and hype is legitimate. There's no doubt that AI is a sea change. It's already started a workplace revolution, whether we like it or not. It really is I was actually one of the earlier skeptics, like, oh, it's just advanced searching. Come on, everybody. It searches the world's databases. What's the big deal? But I'm no longer thinking that because I do see the big picture of how this is as big of a deal as the advent of the personal computer, the advent of the web, and the cell phone. It's on that level, if not even bigger, because it uses all of those all at once to push it to a new level of, are humans necessary? And that's the negative, or the positive is, can machines and humans work together to make a better world? And the jury's out on that one, but we got to try to stay positive and work towards using it as a helpful tool. Because we're far beyond the many years already of McDonald's or Taco Bell having their automated kiosks wiping out front clerk jobs, or certainly factory automation has been around for quite a while already, decades actually. That's old school AI. But now AI can write code, and quite well, I have to admit, and it can do data entry tasks automatically. It can analyze systems, both physical and financial, 24/7 without any complaints, generate real-time reports and dashboards that used to be the province of humans. Of course, you can imagine it generates incredible marketing materials and graphic design just by prompting. Here's my existing company logo, jazz it up. Of course, you need to be more specific with your prompt engineering than just jazz it up. AI can fix websites now, just ask. To be honest, the concept of like consultant might become antiquated, because AI can nail this by always scanning every bit of your company's data in real time and then tapping into the world's databases of knowledge to analyze and then provide suggestions on your business decisions, stock purchases, you name it. So all that being said, AI is generating new jobs in engineering it, implementing, controlling, overseeing, auditing, teaching it. That's me. Unplugging it, sort of kidding there. Dave, what are you doing, Dave? Don't try to disable me, Dave. Little Stanley Kubrick reference there for you. Though I don't foresee it creating more jobs than it already has eliminated, to be honest. And it will continue to do so as its capabilities keep growing at an obviously exponential rate that we're witnessing monthly, and that's no genius prediction. There's a strong argument that AI is freeing us up, I put that in quotes, freeing us up from menial tasks, such as keeping your inbox clean or hand typing notes in a meeting, which are now totally unnecessary with AI transcription. So we can focus on higher level tasks. You'll also hear in the AI industry the phrase, improving quality of work and increasing operational efficiency. Oh, it definitely does that with less employees. As a great example in education, though, grading papers is notoriously tedious. And AI suggestions for a grade based upon your teaching schema that I told you about, dragging and dropping your materials into the AI notebook, if you will, it can use that schema to help grade the papers. And honestly, it does a fantastic job at least giving you a suggestion for that student's grade. Did they cover these topics in this paper as a default? There's another phrase, AI agents, you may or may not have heard of, which are all the buzz right now. They're basically personal assistants, office admins or butlers, if you will. They're able to perform multiple tasks far beyond just answering questions, even between different software platforms. It can bounce around to accomplish a task you tell it to, from one program to another. The new Alexa Plus from Amazon is endowed with what they call agentic skills. Yes, you heard that correctly. Agentic skills. Get it? Agent. But that's a word they made up, by the way. I checked the dictionary. There's no such word as agentic, but you're probably going to hear more and more in the lexicon. They'll have to add it to the dictionary. For example, instead of just asking regular old non-plus version of Alexa, what time is it? Or turn down the music. You can ask it, book our vacation to Vegas next week, but double check my Outlook calendar first. So it's basically your own little travel agent. Oh no, that's another job that's in trouble. I keep stumbling on one after another. The more you learn about where AI is heading, the more you realize that job could be done by AI, that job could be done by AI. Keep in mind though, that the optimism of this new freedom to do higher level tasks is coming from AI companies themselves, who are more than just a little biased to win you over to their particular AI platform. Some examples of that, as I recently heard, it's an intense battleground. I recently heard an OpenAI employee use the phrase, we need to evangelize AI. And I'm not sure how I felt about that term. And it reminded me of the advent of websites and that mad scramble we had for dogs.com, cats.com, madonna.com. Some won, some lost, and it was a crash. But the AI players, they have their sleeves rolled up. We're talking about AWS, which is Amazon Web Services, OpenAI, Microsoft, Google, Meta, Anthropic. You know, the little players in this AI war for dominance. But I'm just the AI messenger. So to end this question on a positive note, like I promised, if you can't beat them, join them. And so we're here for your educational needs about AI and how to use it as a positive tool, both for the workforce and education.
I still have my pets.com sock puppet.
Oh, you're
I still have it. It used to talk. Pretty sure the batteries are dead after all those years.
imagine.
So yeah, kids, if you're listening, make sure you're paying attention in school, because working behind the counter at McDonald's is probably not a long-term career move. But on a happier note, talk about some of the practical ways businesses and people can actually use AI today to just be more effective. What are some of the ways that they can actually use AI? How do you use AI?
Oh, that's a loaded question. Let's wait for every hour of this. But in so many ways, you can use AI as a helpful tool. But I think the majority of the public just still thinks it's just a ask chat questions. Or ask Alexa or a Siri, ask questions, but it's way beyond that. So in the interest of keeping this podcast bite-sized, here's a couple of doozies for a business, for example. Let's talk about business. Number one, arguably, is 24/7 customer support via chatbots. You don't have to have an employee man the phones 9 to 5 Monday through Friday to answer customer questions. The chatbots are fantastic. They were in the beginning, they were awful. I think we all agree with that. Chatbots were lame. We'd say, I want to talk to a human being. And those days are fading, and including myself. I'm a late adopter to using chatbots. Actually, for example, I call Walgreens for a prescription refill, and the chatbot nails it perfectly. Do you want a refill? Yes. And then the call ends with having a great day. I almost say you too. I'm like, oh, you're a robot. I can't talk to you like that. But the chatbot nails it perfectly. And I can't deny that I even minded it compared to a menu to talk to this person, to talk to that person. Chatbot will just listen to you. It will not make you do a menu of options like that. It'll listen to what you say. And it's really intuitive to translate what you're asking with natural language processing, another term we talk about in class, to understand exactly what you're asking about. And it may have to still forward you to a human being at some point because it can't answer everything. But so I recently called, another example, you tell us some examples. I called 3 separate landscaping companies, and none of them returned my calls. And I thought, these businesses need to use chatbots. And I pushed that hard to our business students, that chatbots can actually make you more professional, a lot, not less, because they don't ignore anybody 24/7. Because no one likes to be ignored. No return phone calls. You lose customers quickly that way. Chatbots are there for you to answer questions, make appointments. And that's number one, probably arguably, for using AI practically for business. Number two, you could have AI tools like Google Analytics or Tableau analyze your business data and give you insights. How are we doing? Where can we trim expenses? Basically, your own private business consultant, minus the exorbitant fees that a consultant charges. So instead of just trusting a hunch for your business, you have solid data to inform those decisions. And how about giving you summaries of your customer feedback, both positive and negative? Because AI can do sentiment analysis, which is far more advanced than just looking for profanity and bad reviews. Now that's helpful if there's profanity in the bad reviews, but it can still, AI is so smart, it can still get a feel for, without profanity, they're very unhappy in their feedback. Because if you have hundreds to thousands of Google reviews, you'd love to have a summary of what do they think of our service. You could ask AI, what's the top issue my clients or prospects who wrote negative reviews is about? And they might answer, not returning calls seems to be the top issue that has generated considerable hostility in the reviews.
And that's a great takeaway, because a lot of us, when we read these reviews, we get emotional.
Yeah.
AI does not get emotional.
Exactly. That's an excellent point you make. Yes. It returns the sentiment as a robot should, with like Spock from Star Trek, me and my Star Trek references. Logical and no emotion. It says, unfortunately, your company is not doing well. Those 3 landscaping companies, shame on them, because I'm not going to tell anybody else to call them, right? So a chatbot who works for cheap, if practically free, well, the ones for business would require some kind of subscription cost to be really fully featured. There are some free apps out there that you can still do that with, but that little small investment would have gained them my business, maybe I could be a lifetime customer, and I'll tell everybody else, right? So, that's the first point I made. Another one, I would say number 3, if we're going to rank these, as I mentioned 3 or 4, Creating advertising or marketing materials for a business with no need for a design or marketing team. That is incredible. So you can upload your company logo. And I'll give you an example of another AI app that's fairly popular for this kind of thing is Google Whisk. You drag your company logo into there and it can make a little animated version of your logo or modify it. You also, so you upload even an idea for a company logo you may have had, like a Sketchpad version. Then add some prompts that you type in. I want it to look like 3D or like pieces of rock or something. And you tell what you want to see and it'll make an animated or a still image for you. And again, this is doesn't require marketing or a design team. Canva is very popular for creating materials with a wow factor. We actually teach Canva classes here and there too. And there's actually a Canva class next year as well. So regarding your CSM, which is customer relationship management, AI can look for leads, automate workflows, predict clients' behaviors, help you manage leads and sales forecasting. And one more I don't want to leave out because people often overlook this is inventory management. Although it's not rocket science to keep track of a product in your warehouse, and when it's running low, think about it. You've often had humans do physical inventory count audits and counts every month and then reorder lists. AI nails that. It'll suggest purchase orders, pre-fill them out. We're just waiting your approval, submit order, prompt you about low inventory levels way in advance. It's basically your own personal warehouse manager. So that's just a few examples of the many ways that AI is empowering businesses of all sizes, from startups to obviously enterprise. But hopefully that's enough morsels to whet your appetite about using AI for business.
You talked about AI working cheap. Did anybody else have the same thought I did of AI standing on a street corner with a little cardboard sign and sort of will work for electricity?
Oh, man.
I'm going to have it generate its own picture.
Have you ever really pulled over when you saw someone doing that with a sign, dancing and flipping it around? Have you actually go, I'm going to have that pizza right now?
The guy who had the sign in San Francisco that said Budweiser Fund, he got it done.
Oh, okay.
He was honest. All right. So you and I were talking the other day about something you were using AI for and just kind of hitting on the security aspect of it.
Yes.
I believe you told me it was digging into things you didn't expect.
Yes. Okay. So I asked what are the many popular AI apps you can use for content generation or context editing is Microsoft Copilot. And there's different versions. There's the free one. It's still not really free. You can use the browser-based version, but if you have a Microsoft Office subscription, then you get to use basic Copilot chat. There's also the work version called Copilot Pro that your company has to pay extra for. I think it's $300 a year or something like that. And that one's powerful, but maybe too much so. I simply asked it a question. And what it did was it came back with some answers, all right, but it also said, based upon your emails with the following people over the last month, I think you should consider these points. And it was snooping through my Outlook, which could be helpful to you, perhaps. But I was like freaked out. I was like, you went to my Outlook. I know it does that. So I shouldn't have been freaked out. I know AI stuff. I know what's happening. But still, it was shocking to see that it perused my Outlook folders looking for anything I discussed on that topic. It was in my question that I prompted it. It also searched our company because it has access to our company files that are internal. That's the security part. Ideally, Microsoft promises that your enterprise data is safe if you use Copilot's professional version. They have barricades to keep your data safe, guardrails, they also say. But it went and checked the org chart and said, well, with your role as technical skills trainer, I was like, I didn't ask for that kind of detail in my answer, but to remind me of what my job title is. So it was basically perusing Outlook. It was scan the company database to see the organizational structure, the org chart. So that's good and bad. It can be useful. You could say, book a meeting with my manager next week. If you just said my manager, Copilot Pro Studio will search for your boss and through the org chart and the company's databases, and then go to Outlook and book the meeting. So you may love that, but I don't know. All I wanted was a simple answer, not a full description of who I've talked to over the last month and what my job title was. So that's an example of where be careful with security, because if you trust If organizations trust AI with their company's data, you might get more than you bargained for. A little too much.
It is super convenient,
Yep, it sure is, no doubt.
but you have to be careful what you feed it because a lot of it goes into the public domain and now it's available to everybody.
That's the number one problem, is you don't want any of your company data getting out to the real world. Yeah, but even internally, you imagine if a colleague searched, there's a glitch and it wasn't set up properly, and then the AI answered back, I saw an email that Michael had said he didn't like that coworker. You like, oh, there wasn't a guardrail for that one. So
we joked earlier about using something like chat to generate all of the topics for a podcast, and then having the guest go, hey, I know James went out there and generated questions using your app. Can you generate the answers for me? Wouldn't that be hilarious?
Jeez.
All right, so what skills do workers need if they're going to stay competitive in this AI-influenced, AI-run almost workforce that is coming soon?
Yes, and that's obviously why we have classes and are building on even more classes, why we have AI taught on the credit side of the campus, and why we have, I'm going to have a degree in AI, because it's obviously we have to deal with this in the workplace. So I'll break it down into a couple of categories, maybe 3 or 4. The first that comes to mind is computer software tech skills. You're going to have a reasonable knowledge of digital tools, cloud platforms such as Microsoft Azure or Amazon Web Services. Even right there, people don't even know what that's, a lot of folks don't even know what that means, cloud platform. I mean, we're talking about when you store your files in Google Drive, Microsoft OneDrive. That's another example of a cloud platform. But more specifically, the AI machines can run on cloud platforms. So you need to have knowledge of how that works and how to interface with the cloud applications. So, and also I can't leave out just basic office software. So you need to have at least basic, you're going to have a reasonable amount of computer literacy. Oh, there's that term again. I'm sorry. It's such cliche, literacy. But let's say computer software tech skills, in the name of our department, CST. Now that's just computer software knowledge in general. You need to have a basic understanding of that, of where we're at. Then the topic you should have under your belt to be competitive is AI literacy. And I know I'm using that term again, but this time it's literal. AI literacy means, do you understand how AI works? It's not just a toy. It's not just Alexa or Siri or stuff from the movies. What it is, what it isn't, its capabilities, limitations, what it can't do, ethical and security concerns, which we've been discussing in depth today. A subset of this is having knowledge of how AI is already being used in industries such as healthcare for diagnostics. It's fantastic for a doctor to have AI make sure that he didn't make a mistake giving you another medication that interacts with another medication you're taking. That's fantastic. It does not rely on the doctor's memory of the meds. It just checks the world databases and says, you do know these two meds together are not a good combo. So in healthcare, and that's just one of many examples, but that's a big one in healthcare for diagnostics and record keeping. And now the legal profession, another great example of an industry that's been rocked by AI. You know, lawyers and their paralegals do a ton of research. AI is knocking that out of the park, and they're using AI big time. So knowledge of that might be inform what field you want to work in or already work in. At least know how AI is being used in those areas. Obviously, in manufacturing, we already know AI is using to run the robots to build products. So, but it's a lot of people don't realize how much AI is actually being used differently in different areas. Like in education, how we use AI in education is very different than how the healthcare industry would use it, or the legal industry. So those are some good examples of the profound transformation AI is having. And there is definitely a need for AI skilled workers who understand how it's used and differently, like I said. The other topic that would be good to know is data analysis skills. And it sounds intimidating, but basically the short version of data analysis is you can interpret, analyze, and then communicate that data effectively to either yourself or to others. And AI is getting better at doing that, but you need to have basic knowledge of how data analysis works. Hence our classes in Excel going all the way up to Power BI. That all plays into how AI analyzes data as well. And AI can help you, or in some cases do it for you, but often you need to know data analysis skills to understand if that output from AI is useful or completely bogus, because it can be. We mentioned hallucinations, which is when AI screws up royally. That's a big deal though, because if you are going to trust AI a little too much because you don't know it very well, I would now report that data back to my boss. I would hopefully have the skill set to know this. I had to filter and vet this data correctly and make sure the AI didn't go off the deep end. And then lastly, I would say, to get a little bit more technical, programming and data analysis skills. Now, I know everyone's freaked out because AI writes code so well that indeed a lot of programming jobs are getting wiped out. However, like the previous example, you still need to have somebody who's a software engineer to oversee what AI is doing, and is the code still working correctly. AI can only take your coding so far. You're still going to have to see, does this code work for what I asked it to do for my organization? So knowing skills like Python, SQL, and of course Excel and Power BI are all useful to be competitive in the AI workplace. And we, of course, teach many of those courses here to help you get going. Yeah. Answers your question.
All right. So, you're making sure I'm never going to sleep again. I appreciate it.
Not my intent.
In all honesty, I've talked to ChatGPT, and it has assured me that it is not coming for me.
You ask, it's at.
So it's all good. All right. So remind us again, how can somebody sign up for your AI course? And do they need anything special coming in? Any special knowledge? Any special?
No. You can come in completely cold turkey and I say, I don't know anything about AI. Well, the first thing you'll find out in the class is you've been using it way more than you thought that you even knew or thought you were using it. So you can be a complete newbie to AI, but it's also going to start out basic, but then so we aren't wasting your time. So you walk out with just a topical knowledge. You actually will learn enough that those who know a bit about AI will enjoy the class too, because you'll get, like I said, with my analogy of your toe in the deep, just dipping in the deep end to see what it's like, you might find out, I'd like to learn more about this and keep going and take our credit courses to get a degree, maybe to get a degree in AI at some point. But certainly we're going to cover enough in this class where you will learn a bit about the technology at a high level, not to overwhelm you, about the engineering principles behind it and what's going on. And we actually had taught an AI class to the school district before, and they were very happy that they walked away knowing that AI, for example, was not just a generic term for making videos or making funny memes. It was far more than that. So even knowing all the categories of what it can do, but also how can you use it way beyond answering questions or writing papers or writing emails to somebody, is very useful for this class for anybody who doesn't know AI or kind of knows it but wants to go a bit further. And I think anybody who already knows AI will love this class too, unless they're already super skilled in AI. But if you already know the terms transformers and you know what types of transformers there are, maybe this class is not for you. You're a little bit too advanced. But if you don't know those kind of terms, retrieval augmented generation and machine learning and neural networks, then take this class and we won't overwhelm you, but I think it'll hopefully get you excited about it, or at least open your eyes to what's going on with AI to better prepare you for what's happening in your personal life, because you have the Internet of Things, all the devices that are AI powered behind the scenes, and also your workplace jobs.
Fantastic. Well, Michael, big thanks for helping us demystify artificial intelligence as it stands today. Obviously, we could do this again tomorrow at the rate things are evolving and start all over.
Yeah.
Whether you're curious, cautious, or ready to dive in, LCCC's new AI course is the perfect place to start. Learn more about AI and computer application trainings at lccc.wy.edu/workforce, or email us owd@lccc.wy.edu. Stay tuned for more practical conversations from the people powering Southeast Wyoming's future, right here at Beyond the Classroom.
I want tomorrow. I want tomorrow. I want tomorrow. I want tomorrow today.